of their own. They just get it done in a different manner.
Pitt won the toss and deferred, rocking those blue and yellow throwbacks, and the kick in the end zone will lead to a Virginia Tech touchback starting at the 25-yard line for the Hokies. 32 degrees, a wind chill of 22, little bit blustery today. Saw about 6 or 7 snow flurries out of our hotel window this morning. It is a chilly, chilly afternoon for football.
Ryan Willis from an athletic family. His dad played at Kansas State. His mom was an All-American track star at Iowa State. Big athlete in his own right.
Start with a jet sweep. Speaking of sons of good athletes, Terrius Wheatley, who's the son of Tyrone Wheatley, takes it for 10 and a first down.
Former 10-year pro in the NFL, currently coaches the Jacksonville Jaguar running backs. Is Tyrone Wheatley, and Terrius Wheatley, 6 foot, 197 pounds. Didn't expect him to start the game. Stephen Peoples right back in the ball game for Virginia Tech.
Willis to throw for the first time, and he completes it to his big target, Eric Kuma, 6'2" junior. 2 first downs on 2 plays. This one a gain of 14.
Yeah, they say he's got excellent hands. He's not the fastest receiver, but he just catches everything thrown his way. And you just give him a jump ball type situation, he usually comes down with it.
This is Stephen Peoples, shoulder to the ground after a good pickup on first down, 4 yards before Rashad Weaver made the hit.
Yeah, Peoples is arguably their best offensive weapon. A former walk-on. They will spread him out just about everywhere and try to get him the football.
It will be a heavier workload for Peoples today. No Deshaun McClease, who is Virginia Tech's second leading rusher. He was hurt against Boston College last week, did not make the trip. So expect a heavy dose of Peoples in the backfield as he takes it for 2.
I wanted to stop the run. That was first and foremost for Randy Bates, the defensive coordinator for Pitt. Big third down situation to get themselves off the field. Haven't been real good in that category this year.
Willis swings it. Peoples out of the backfield. He is wrestled down. Elijah Zeiss, the money linebacker, with a money play and a loss of 2.
Yeah, Zeiss with excellent inside-out speed. And when you get in the open field, you have to make tackles. People's trying to outflank the defense and run for the first down. Zeiss is right there to make a nice play.
Oscar Bradburn's punt. Fair caught by Rafael Araujo-Lopes after a kick of 36.
Good start to this ball game for the Pitt Panthers. Get a quick look on a third down in which they get themselves off the field. And I tell you what, Pat Narduzzi, the head coach, has got to be excited about that, along with Randy Bates, the defensive coordinator. They were giving up 46% on third downs this year coming in. That is about 1/16th in the country in that category. So this first defensive stop to force a punt.
And now it's the Pitt offense with Qadree Ollison getting the first handoff and getting a shot in the back after a short gain. Quarterback for Pitt, it's senior day, but it is a sophomore starter, Kenny Pickett, who took over at the end of last year, of course, led the Panthers to the big win over Miami. He has started all season and been perfect in this stadium in conference games.
Yeah, they give him a lot at the line of scrimmage. He can check in and out of plays, and you know, he handles a lot up front in terms of redirecting the running game.
On the rollout, Pickett completes it to Araujo-Lopes for a gain of 3.
And it's important for him to get off to a nice start. You think Pitt, you think this running game and a big offensive line with Ollison and Hall, but you got to have 5 guys up front if you're going to run the football consistently. And then Pickett with the passing game, that's where I think this game is going to be won on one sideline or the other. It's who can deliver the football accurately through the air to move the team when need be.
Pitt has not been great on third downs this year. Pickett will throw it, though, and a dart is reeled in by Taysir Mack. First down for Mack, the transfer from Indiana.
Yeah, Sean Watson told us he's probably the best all-around wide receiver, excellent playmaker, and he just kind of gave the look that he was going deep, hooked up along the sideline, and Pickett with the nice timing, pass on the outside shoulder away from the defensive back. All those little technical things get you completions.
First down after a gain of 9. George Aston, the fullback, motions to the left and now returns to the right. The run will go to Ollison to the left, and he is swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Taiwan Garbett and Dax Hollifield got there on a loss of 3.
Yeah, there were a lot, and I mean a lot of defenders inside the box for Bud Foster. First down. Look at all the defenders inside. That 7-man box in there. Everybody's packed in. They're defending the run on first down. Not going to give up much to Ollison and this Pitt running game early in the game. They're going to have to throw it, I think, today, Kevin, to establish any kind of running game.
Pickett 2 for 2 so far. Another short one. That's caught by Maurice French, and Tyree Rogers is on top of him immediately. This Virginia Tech defense is down to its second and third string, Andre, in some key cases. They lost a lot coming back this year. A bunch of underclassmen declared early. A couple of players were dismissed, and they've had some injuries. So it is a beat-up unit for Bud Foster.
Lost 9 starters from last year, and he said when we talked to him last night, it's his most inexperienced group that he's ever had since he's been at Virginia Tech that they have to put on the field. Only one senior, Ricky Walker, is in this group and plays and starts for the majority of the snaps.
Pickett with a clean pocket and delivers, reeled in with an initial bobble by Mack.
Just about on cue. Taysir Mack gonna run a nice post route and come right in the middle of the field, and a dime, a throw on the money from Kenny Pickett. Coaches told us, he said football just kind of comes to him easily. Tell you what, he threw a pass there, made it look easy to Mack, who had to reel it in, got hit, the ball's bouncing around, but he was able to hold on to it.
Javon Quillen hit him, but Mack hangs on for 26. Panthers into Virginia Tech territory with a first down play action, and Pickett with all sorts of space. Boy, Virginia Tech sold out for the run, and it's Pickett who can move, running for a first down.
Well, he got a heck of a block on the outside. It looked like Maurice French, the wide receiver to that side. They go crashing down because why? You're thinking run on first down, and there's a lot of room and green grass in front of Kenny Pickett. But then you get the unselfish play. You hear me talk about that every single week. Guys on the outside making blocks, doing the dirty work. In that case, it was Maurice French.
17 yards on the run for Pickett. True sophomore from Oakhurst, New Jersey. Pickett will give it up to Darrin Hall.
Well, you need those workhorse kind of players, the guys that want to get in and do the dirty work, the Draymond Greens, the Dennis Rodman types. You want those guys on your team because they're going to dive for loose balls. And in this case, when it's a receiver on the edge, you're making nice blocks for a guy like Darrin Hall, who last week just flat out went off against Virginia.
And he did that because of those blue-collar offensive linemen, those receivers on the outside. He ran for 229. Mike Herndon, the right guard, was the offensive lineman of the week in the conference. A fake a run behind him here. Pickett has a one-on-one matchup looking for French. He threw that block a couple of plays ago, and he overshot him with Rogers in coverage.
You could see it coming, packing everybody inside. You had press man-to-man outside. And if you hit a couple of those, you get Bud Foster out of it. But if you don't, you see it all day. And those are the big guys up front, paving the way for both Ollison and as well as Hall, and then providing Kenny Pickett with some nice pass protection.
Notice a common theme there. Senior.
Bunch of
under
seniors.
4 of those 5 names. And then the center, Morrissey, is sophomore. All recognized on this Pitt senior day, last home game for this group at Hines. Pickett lost the ball on what looked like it was a designed run, and then Ricky Walker came in to clean him up.
It looked as though Sean Watson and Pat Narduzzi trying to fool Bud Foster. He just lost the football. You see the gloves. It's a cold day today. Big Ricky Walker in there to make the stop, but maybe Pitt was okay with trying to field goal with that play call.
Well, they have one of the longest distance kickers in the nation in terms of accuracy from deep, Alex Kessman, who has the stadium record for long field goal, and this one from 47 is perfect.
No problem.
Kessman hit from 55 earlier in the year, longer than any pro or college kicker at Heinz Field. And on a cold day, he puts Pitt in.
Seg against Justin Fuente. 0-2 against Virginia Tech under his leadership.
And both awfully close games. Stephen Peoples, the starting running back from his own goal line, and Peoples nearly broke it. Finally gang tackled at the 34 after a return of ESPN app or going to ESPNplus.com. We hope you've done it by now, but if not, there's still plenty of time. Ryan Willis, second drive for Virginia Tech. Throws it up for a fade, and it's reeled in by Eric Kuma. And this, Andre, is exactly what both coaching staffs knew we'd get. Fades and back shoulder throws against this press coverage.
Yeah, you get a big guy like Kuma, and it's almost unfair for the smaller 6-foot Dane Jackson to that side.
Play of 21. Here's a dump off to the tight end, Dalton Keene, for only a yard.
Well, they do a nice job. I was watching film with this play, and they hide him sneaking behind the offensive line after a play fake, and Virginia Tech's actually speeding up tempo. I hadn't seen them do that.
A couple of first downs on the first drive. They're in Pittsburgh territory on the second. Willis swings it again into the flats. Hezekiah Grimsley, and Pitt is all over this play. Short gain with DeMar Hamlin, their leading tackler, in on the stop.
And sometimes you do that just to try to get a spark. You try to speed it up, take the thinking out of it for the quarterback and the rest of the offense, and you're just running plays trying to put pressure on a defense.
No Damon Hazelton on this third down play. Kuma at the bottom of your formation there, second leading target. Willis hit. Down he goes. Rashad Weaver got him for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, and I think he had time, and Kuma did come open. Ran a corner route down inside, and if he just steps up in the pocket without running, it's a split second. You're going to take a hit, but it's a split second you need to get the ball out to the receiver, Kuma, on the outside. Instead, the sack is there, and they're going to force another punt by Virginia Tech.
Tells you what kind of game Justin Fuente thinks this is going to be. Going field position here with a punt from the 41, and that will net only 21. A touchback off the kick by Bradburn. Rashad Weaver with 5.5 sacks. They become the favorites with only a 33% chance. So if you want chaos, Hokies winning gives you that. Here's a potentially chaotic play. The ball pops out late on the run by Ollison, but he was ruled down. So it's a big gainer of 27 on the first play of this drive.
Oh, a nice big hole along the left side of this Pitt offensive line. And boy, this kid is really impressed. Watching him this week, it's been fun to watch both he and Darrin Hall do their thing. Start breaking down film, and you see why everybody is enamored with these two backs at Pitt.
That's the task for Bud Foster, 23rd year defensive coordinator. Find a way to stop these two. For a Pitt team that's run it for nearly 231 a game, third in the ACC.
Wow.
Pickett swarmed under here by a couple of Hokies. Dax Hollifield, the outstanding freshman, making his second straight start with a loss of 8.
Boy, he brings great energy to this defense. and is a true freshman that Bud Foster just kept raving about in last night's meeting with him. Comes free on a blitz. We put Pitt behind the down and distance markers, and that's exactly where Bud Foster wants it.
We haven't heard many coaches be that effusive in their praise for a particular player, let alone a true freshman. But they think Hollifield is a future star in this program. Darrin Hall slips through the middle. Hall is a game breaker. He gets out of an ankle tackle and is finally taken down inside the Hokie 10.
It took Caleb Farley, the 100-meter state champion in the state of North Carolina, to track down Darrin Hall. And that's after he slips on a couple of occasions. Outruns one, breaks another tackle, and then here comes Farley to track him down. Luckily, they have the state 100-meter champion in the defensive backfield for Virginia Tech. Otherwise, Hall's dancing in the end zone.
Boy, that looked like last Friday night, didn't it?
Really did. What a talent.
Ran it last week for more than 200 at Virginia, the National Offensive Player of the Week, with a couple of breakaway scores. First and goal for Pitt here, and this is unsettled. We get a whistle before the play.
It doesn't get any better for Pitt or anyone when you...
Timeout was called by Pitt. Timeout.
Timeout Panthers will take it with them. First and 6 in Blacksburg, got down to the 1, and were stopped on 4 straight plays. The stake's not as high right now, but he's hoping his Hokies can come through.
It's high when you go on the road. You don't want to trail. There were 2 things that, and I'll get into that after this play, but you need another stop here and then force a field goal.
Qadree Ollison. Ollison upended into the end zone. Touchdown Pitt.
What a 1-2 punch. And it doesn't get any better when you don't lose anything. When you take one back out that breaks one for 53 to give him a break in Darrin Hall, and then you bring Ollison in to finish things off. Well, I tell you, and then they've got big George Aston, the fullback, who's just a mauler. 35 right there. Reading on the run. Nice block to free it up for Qadree Ollison.
8th rushing touchdown that temporarily breaks a tie with Hall. And the extra point wobbles through from Alex Kessman. 4 plays, 80 yards.
That was the big 53-yard run by Hall to set this up. A great block by Aston, the fullback, and then the rest delivered by Ollison.
We told you off the top you have about as good a 1-2 punch as anybody.
Rarely do you see 2 players that are unselfish. They root for one another, the success of the other.
And in direct competition.
Yeah, and you see it. You see them in the room together, you know it's genuine. It's not just, you know, just there for the purpose of putting on any front. They genuinely care for one another.
So 2 possessions, 2 scores for Pitt. Firing up this Heinz Field crowd on Senior Day with a chance to essentially knock the Hokies out of the Coastal Rays. ABC tonight, the Atlantic Division race is down to more or less 2. Clemson and Boston College. The winner will control the Atlantic. Game day was there this morning, a frenzied crowd in Chestnut Hill, and tonight should be awesome. 8 Eastern on ABC.
Can A.J. Dillon get going? That's another good, you know, head-to-head in terms of running backs. But he has been nursing an ankle injury since we were there against Temple, and he gets going to make that thing a game. Clemson is on a mission right now.
Banged up again last week in BC's win at Virginia Tech, 31-21. Do you think BC can hang with Clemson?
Yeah, they can hang for about a quarter, 2 quarters. Okay. I just don't think they have enough firepower. Once Clemson gets going, and then that big defensive line of Clemson's going to give A.J. Dillon some problems. So I like Clemson to win the game. I like them to win it going away as we get, you know, after they come out of the half.
Second down, Virginia Tech. Peoples is swallowed up after maybe a couple of inches. Jazzy Stocker got him down, and it's another third down for the Hokies.
Just to put a bow on that, I think Clemson is one of those teams that they're peaking right at the right time for Dabo Swinney. At the quarterback finally going, a running game to complement, and a defense that doesn't back away from anybody.
Willis fires one complete for a first down. Second catch for Hezekiah Grimsley, and 7 yards for the Hokies' first third down conversion.
Yeah, they usually like Grimsley on crossing routes and underneath routes. There they showed some zone coverage. So what do you do in zone? Sit down and give the quarterback a target.
This one delivered and dropped right on the money to Eric Kuma.
And you talk about sitting in, taking a lick. Ryan Willis knew he was going to take a shot, kind of pulled it down and ran earlier in the game, and was sacked. But that one, we had Jalen Twyman, the defensive tackle, Twyman right in the middle, coming at him, and we delivered a dime to Kuzma, who rarely drops it.
Willis took a couple of shots last week, missed a little bit of time in that BC game, had a wind knocked out of him. Hands it off here, and Peoples loses 3 on the play.
Big Patrick Jones.
The ruling on the field, the runner was down.
On the outside, holding the edge and playing leverage, not going to allow the play to get outside of him.
What a first quarter this was. Hokies with 2 punts and 2 drives. Ryan Willis nowhere to throw, or at least he thought, so he takes it and runs for a gain of 9. Will put him 3 yards shy of a first down.
Got it close. A bit closer. Justin Fuente would have to entertain, maybe going for it to try to capture some momentum in this game. Pitt's defense has been quite magical, and especially, Kevin, on third downs.
Hokies have moved the ball a little bit. They've made it across midfield. Last time, though, Bradburn punted it into the end zone for a net of only 21. Rougeau Lopes will field this inside his 10 and make his way to the sideline. It's more or less a touchback as he gets out near the 20. Return of 13. Time for our drive recap, brought to you by Jared. It was a quick one for Pitt. 4 plays, 80 yards into the end zone.
Yeah, a couple of big drives. It actually got started with a 17-yard run by Kenny Pickett, and then Ollison comes up with a big run. They give it to Darrin Hall. He goes 53 yards, almost houses this baby, but gets tracked down by the speedy Caleb Farley. They go right back to Ollison, picking up a nice block by George Aston to get into the end zone, and Pitt up 10-0 here early.
Kenny Pickett to throw against a 7-man box. Airs it out, and Maurice French has got it. There goes French in a foot race. Touchdown. The last drive was 4 plays. That one took a little bit too long. 78 yards to the house for French, their big play receiver, and Pitt is rolling.
And I think the thing I loved most about the play was the chest bump by big Mike Herndon and Alex Bookster, the right guard and right tackle, respectively. But this is perfectly timed, and then French with tremendous speed in his own right, outracing the secondary of Virginia Tech to the end zone. What a throw by Kenny Pickett. Well, and if Virginia Tech doesn't watch it, yeah, Justin Fuente and his crew, it could be a long afternoon. Big play after big play. Maurice French on the end of that one, putting Pitt up 17-0.
Longest throw of Kenny Pickett's career, 78-yard play to Maurice French. Panthers have scored on all 3 drives in this battle for the ACC Coastal. Steven Peoples on the run back for Virginia Tech, breaks a tackle, and Peoples makes a play in the return game up near midfield.
There's no let up in Steven Peoples. Does a lot for this Virginia Tech team.
Run back of 44 for Peoples on the play. Veterans Day tomorrow, and what a fitting matchup this is. Mike Krzyzewski against his old team, Army. Heads to Cameron Indoor to take on Duke. 1 Eastern on ESPN. Who's that gentleman we're showing you? Well, it's a former Duke assistant coach, Jeff Capel, who came over from Duke this year to take over the men's basketball team at Pitt. What a rebuilding job he has in front of him. Jalen Olston with a run of 3 on this first drive for Virginia Tech. Capel got his second win yesterday for the Panthers. 2-0 to start the year.
Showing some commitment, some support to the football program, and athletics overall kind of out in the elements today. I'm impressed with it.
Couldn't get you to sit out there, of course.
I'd be watching it from a box, though.
Here's Willis on second down. Incomplete with Trey Turner, the freshman, the target. And some single coverage from Damari Mathis, the sophomore.
Yeah, he just mistimed the throw. Actually has Mathis beaten, and he just mistimes it. Ball goes right, pretty much right through his hands. That's one that you'll look at in film study either tomorrow or Monday and wish you had that one back.
On another third down, Willis fires one to an open man. This time he hooks up with Turner. Trey Turner, the freshman, has 11 grabs on the year. 10 of them have gone for a first down or a touchdown.
And they're trying to go tempo, but he ran one heck of a route. And credit Ryan Willis for hanging with the true freshman Trey Turner.
Almost feels like a must-score drive early on, the way that Pitt has moved the ball. And a first down run for Holston for a yard.
Whenever I played on the road, there were 2 things I wanted to start a game. I wanted the football first, and I wanted to get on the scoreboard early and first before the home team, because then you put the pressure on the home team to have to match what you're doing. Virginia Tech had the football first. They were forced to punt it.
They bring in Quincy Patterson, the freshman, to run the ball.
Yeah.
And he gets nothing. Salim Brightwell on the stop.
And didn't do anything with it early. And then they allowed, or actually have allowed, Pitt on the scoreboard 3 times. So now all the pressure resides on the sideline of the guys in the white jerseys. You know, you talk about a must score this drive. They need to put something on the scoreboard right here.
Willis back in the game, 3rd and 9. Here comes the pressure. He gets rid of it quickly. It's Sean Savoy, and Savoy slides down. It depends on the spot. He's right near the 23-yard line where he needed to get, and he appears to be just a little bit short.
Yeah, just shy of it. It's so close. They're going to have to measure this one.
Jerry Magdalenas, our referee, is calling for the chain gang. I think you have to go for this if you're short, right? No question.
Oh, I think so. But, you know, it's just a matter of how do you pick it up, because Pitt has owned the line of scrimmage, and they won't have to make that decision. I think it's good. If it's touching, it's a first down.
Let's see. Oh, my.
He calls it, I don't know if it's that much, but it's short. Looked like it was touching almost.
4th and millimeters,
yeah.
Can we say?
Yeah, don't mess with this one. Get under center and run the quarterback sneak.
You get a big quarterback in Willis. That Narduzzi wants to make sure he knows just how much it is.
A big center, too, and Zachariah Hoyt behind that big fella and get some push. All 6'4" of Ryan Willis. I wouldn't take it back to Peoples, because you allow for penetration, and as I mentioned earlier, Pitt has owned the trenches.
There's the sneak. Willis, that's more than enough for the first down.
A smart heads-up play. Found a nice soft spot. And was able to get pushed, and the drive continues for Virginia Tech. Kevin, you need to continue this and get some points. That defense of Virginia Tech needs a rest. They have played a lot of football here early.
Willis, play fake. And as he throws, he took a shot at the end of that play. It was Dwayne Hendricks, who had 2.5 sacks last week and just planted Willis.
Yeah, the best game of his career, arguably, against Virginia, and is very well respected by his teammates, and plays like that. You see exactly why. He is always, and I mean always, in the backfield when you turn the film on.
That one is batted. It is a forward pass. Rashad Weaver knocked it down. It was immediately ruled forward, so an incompletion.
We talk about the 1-2 punch of the backs in Ollison and Hall. They've got a nice 1-2 punch of defensive end as well in Hendricks and Weaver. Coaches just rave about those two. Weaver, just a sophomore, a smart player, really studies the game, has tremendous physical talents at 6'5", 260. He's the team's best playmaker up front.
Pat Narduzzi told us he has made the other defensive linemen want to be smarter. He sees them coming to practice with wristbands now and studying plays.
Timeout. Pitt. Timeout.
Timeout for Weaver's group before yet another. With his Pitt class honored before the game on senior day. He and his front line, Andre, have been very good so far today. Why have they succeeded?
Well, I think they just feed off one another. They study the game, especially Weaver, who studies formations, the positions of backs in the backfield, so it gives you a chance as a defensive lineman to really know what's coming or what play is being run, and that gives a tremendous advantage.
Got linebackers in the gaps right now. They show pressure, the Panthers do, on a 3rd and 10. It's a rush of 5. Willis's throw is short and incomplete. Target was Hazelton. Brings up a 4th down and 10.
And credit Willis, he stood in the pocket as long as he possibly could, and that's his guy, Hazelton, trying to wait him out. It's a 3rd down critical situation where they need to convert, and you knew he was going to try to find number 14.
So Brian Johnson has attempted 1 field goal in the last 3 games and missed it.
Oh, he needs this one.
This from 40. Johnson's kick is no good. The Hokies come up empty again. We're back in 30 seconds to Pitt. Pitt football, and that pass would have been better off dropped. A loss of 2 on the catch by Arujo Lopes. So a missed field goal from 40 yards out by Johnson. Virginia Tech uncharacteristically poor in a special teams area, and now Pitt has it with 3 scores in 3 drives.
Out there, they were setting up to take a deep shot. That, you know, all the wind's out of the sails of a team. You drive down, you need points, you trail by 17, and your kicker misses. Be surprised if they don't go to the middle here with one of these deep shots.
Give it on the run instead. Here is Darrin Hall. There goes Darrin Hall. Another game-breaking run. Hall eludes a tackler. Inside the 25. Reggie Floyd finally ran him down. Hall with a 53-yard run earlier, goes for 58.
Holy moly. You talk about one cut and let's get it. That's Darrin Hall, baby, with steam coming off the shoes from the cold surface. He's lighting up everybody in the first half of this one. Wow.
Not many have won the National Offensive Player of the Week award back-to-back weeks, but Hall ran for 220 plus last week, has 114 yards on 3 carries.
Yeah, and last week 19 carries for 229.
Qadree Ollison now is stuck in the backfield. Tackle for loss by Divine Diablo, who's wearing the number 25 today. That is given to the Hokie who makes the biggest contribution on special teams the previous week. The reason it's 25, that's Frank Beamer's old number, the longtime Hokie coach who played at Tech and then was known as one of the great teachers of special teams in the game.
Yeah, when we talked to Ricky Walker, he talked about that, and he said, you know, he's never been anywhere that they've worked special teams so much. Other coaches that are on the staff, he's asking, you know, have they, other places they've been, have they worked special teams that much? And that answer was a big no.
Pickett didn't like what he saw there with the play clock winding down.
Timeout. Pitt, their third and final timeout of the half.
Used all its timeouts.
30-second timeout.
Midway through the second. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to that university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. If you're just joining us, it has been a rout to date. Pitt has been terrific on third down. Held the Hokies to 3 punts and a missed field goal.
Meanwhile, on the other side,
They've been perfect so far.
Just about perfect. 2 touchdowns and a field goal in their 4 drives.
And this being the fourth. And a chance to make it 4 for 4.
And in position once again to put points on the board.
Pitt, which played a grueling non-conference schedule, has really hit its stride toward the end of conference play. Winners of 2 in a row. He took out two weeks ago. One at Virginia last Friday. Keep it on the ground. Ollison tried to break through and runs it across the 20 for about 5. Pat Narduzzi went through it yesterday with us. He went through all the teams that have played as many top 25 teams as his had. There aren't many. This is just in the non-conference. Penn State, UCF, and then that Notre Dame game, maybe a turning point for them. They lost, but only by 5 against the top 5 team.
Yeah, and have caught some fire as of late. 2 wins in a row against Duke and Virginia, and seem to have turned their season around.
Pickett on third down, a design run for Pickett, who's got the first down, wiggling free, and the ball is out in the end zone, and it's picked up by Virginia Tech's Rico Kearney.
Boy, might be the shot in the arm that Bud Foster and this defense needed. Able to force the fumble on Kenny Pickett.
The runner fumbled into the end zone. It was recovered by Virginia Tech.
Kearney in his second career start on the football in the end zone. Hokies have it. There's Jermaine Waller, Andre, to knock it out at the 5.
Yeah, you get in that crowded area, you've picked up the first down. Both hands have to go on it to try to secure it. And luckily for Virginia Tech, they do force the fumble.
On the sweep, this is Wheatley.
And I say that, Kevin, because it was about to get ugly. You know, you're knocking on the door of 24-0, and a lot of pressure is being applied. They're going to get the ball first to start the second half. It's just a tough hill to climb if you get yourself that far behind.
Keep it on the ground with Peoples. Virginia Tech, a team over the years known for its success defensively in the turnover battle specifically. They were +5 in the opener against Florida State. They're -2 on the season since then. And that was an absolutely crucial one. And
yeah,
because of the touchback with the ball in the end zone, you get a couple of plays, now you're out at the 35 already. Because of that decent field position today. Willis waits here, fires it low, and Hazelton's there to reel it in. The ball came free. It's picked up by Stephen Peoples, the running back down the field, and that leads to a monster gain for Virginia Tech.
Not sure if Hazelton was down initially, but this is a nice play, making it look like quarterback draw, and then you get a defender, Mathis, to break away just enough. They're trying to run it. Yeah, they're going to review this. Every play, remember, every play in college football is reviewed.
Was a completed pass and a fumble recovered by Virginia Tech and advanced. The play is under review.
They're going to check and see if Hazelton was indeed down. But I like just the complexity of the play, making it look like quarterback draw or counter. And then as soon as Hazelton broke free, raise up and give it to him. I think he was definitely down. The knees down, the elbows down. This is coming back to about the 44-yard line or so.
The only question would be, was the ball at all bobbled? Was it loose before he hit the ground?
No.
Doesn't seem to be anything definitive in that case.
No, I think the knee was definitely down, the elbow hit, and then the ball came out. So this is coming back. There's the knee right there. Great camera angle. Good work by our crew. The elbow is down, and then it comes out.
It's that connection that Ryan Willis told us about when we sat down with him yesterday. Damon Hazelton has become his favorite target during games, but he was by far his favorite target last year on the scout team.
Yeah.
The two of them were transfers, Willison from Kansas, Hazelton from Ball State, and they threw the ball so much, or Willis threw the ball so much to Hazelton that Greg Stroman, who's now in the NFL with Washington, would yell at him. Willis said, "I just threw to him every play." And they've developed this amazing nonverbal relationship that finally connects here for first down.
It's being able, when you get to that level, of reading your receiver's body language. So you know when he's getting ready to come out of a route even before he does. And so when you can build that kind of chemistry, you've got something special. And it seems like Ryan Willis and Damon Hazelton are right on track with that.
Rusty Acree is our replay official. We're going to get one more look at this. This has taken a surprisingly long time. Again, does the ball come out before the elbow's down for Hazelton?
Well, Pitt thinks so, because they're going all the way back to where Hazelton was down. But the knee is, I think, the thing that tells me it's going to be ruled down.
Remember, the ruling on the field was fumble, so it has to be definitive to overturn.
The ruling on the field, the runner was down at the 44-yard line. It will be 1st and 10. Please reset the game clock to 6 minutes, 56 seconds. Thank you.
That's probably part of the process, why that took so long to review. Where's the yard line? What's the time? Everything's sorted out. No fumble and a gain of 21. So Virginia Tech has moved it to the Pitt 44. Hokies' last drive ended in a missed field goal. They've been across midfield for more than half their plays today.
He's got what he wants up top. Press coverage, safety down low.
Yep, Willis looking that way. One-on-one coverage, a lot of hand fighting, and 2 flags are out with Eric Kuma and Dane Jackson in coverage for Pitt.
Yeah, you just see it in pre-snap read, and Kuma is his jump ball or 50-50 player.
Defense, number 11, automatic 1st down.
Both he and Hazelton have the capability, but today it's been the matchup with Kuma on the outside against Dane Jackson, a smaller corner. And you see him there, just enough of the jersey to draw the flag.
It's the first accepted penalty of the game. Seen a flag thrown to the 6:46 mark of the second. Here comes the heat. Willis, Kuma's wide open again, and he will score. Touchdown, Tech. 29 yards. Willis goes to Kuma to draw the pass interference. And on the very next play, right back to number 83.
Yeah, they go the smash route. We call it switch corner, where you switch responsibilities with a tight end or the slot receiver, and then he goes back to the corner. Thought he had it earlier in the game when he got sacked, stayed with it there, and Kuma rewards him. And how about rewarding the defense for getting themselves a turnover, get you the ball back, and Virginia Tech's able to punch it in.
You bring in the freshman Jordan Stout for the extra point after a missed field goal by Johnson. He makes it 17-7. Kuma and the Hokies on the board.
Boy, he was special and fun to watch. Just kind of glided down the field. That was pretty to watch.
All right, so there are a lot of universities that hail claim to RBU, running back university. Pitt, Tony Dorsett, of course, 73 to 76, three-time All-American. Far from the only one, Ironhead Hayward in the mid-'80s. And then who could forget Curtis Martin before his outstanding NFL career. LaShawn McCoy for a couple of years, leading the Panthers in the Big East. You had Dion Lewis in there as well, and the most recent star plays in this stadium. He was here Thursday night. James Conner, now with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What a story.
What a tradition, too.
Has been, and you're right, but Conner is lighting it up this season.
Pitt with 5 20-yard plays in the game. This is 6th. Qadree Ollison into Virginia Tech territory.
And right on cue, at running back Qadree Ollison breaks another big run. Nice blocking again by George Aston, the fullback, opening up a nice big hole for the big back in Ollison.
You know, Pitt was averaging, Andre, 14.5 yards per play before that last run. Now we're at 15.5. That's a run of 31.
That's just sick.
They're gashing this young and beat up Hokie front. A couple of linebackers banged up. Dylan Rivers, Emmanuel Belmar, the end, out today. Rashard Ashby's been banged up. They'll run it again. Ollison with plenty of space, following Stefano Millen, the left tackle from Kent State, for a run of 21.
Connor Dentino, the left guard, out in front as well. And if you're going to have this kind of success, you better have some offensive linemen that are in tune and playing together. And the guys up front, those 5 big offensive linemen for Pitt, 4 seniors and 1 sophomore, Jimmy Morrissey in the middle, are doing some work today.
You asked Pat Narduzzi who's playing well on the line. He said everyone. 5-man unit, 4 seniors and a sophomore. Back of the ground to Hall, a stutter step at first, and the Hokies get penetration here. Well, Hall has stood up for a loss.
Virginia Tech, they're over pursuing right now and afraid of it. I would send Ashton one way, stick it in the belly of Hall, and I think a bootleg out the backside. Kenny Pickett may run free with nobody around him. Look at that production. Little production today. Hall's averaging 28 yards a carry.
And he just lost 2.
Well, that's, you know, right in line with what he did last week. 19 carries for 229 and 3 touchdowns.
Pickett motions Aston from right to left. They say Pickett is so good with those checks at the line. Here, he will take it himself, Kenny Pickett. Tap dance his way to stay in bounds. And Pickett is ruled out of bounds before he hit the goal line.
Question
way
is,
back at the 12.
Did he pick up the first down? And the answer is yes. But this is why I like the bootleg. It's almost similar in a different manner. Everybody's down the field. They're flowing with Darrin Hall, where it allowed Pickett right there, the foot's out of bounds, to pick up a first down running. Some athlete at 6'2", 220, and you get so concerned with Ollison and Hall that you forget about the big quarterback that has some wheels of his own.
Pitt is now over 350 yards of offense, most of them on the ground. On first down, Hall, and he gets stuffed.
Boy, there it is again. We're right back to that same formation. Stick it in there and let him pull it. And then you give him kind of a run pass option with the single receiver out wide. I think it's Aaron Matthews, the junior.
Biggest difference the coach has told us with Kenny Pickett this year, really there were 2. One is how great he is with checks and sweeps in the run game. The other, he's learned to lead the whole football team.
And they love his demeanor, whether he's throwing a touchdown or he's in a run for one or throws an incompletion. You never really know, and that's staying in the moment.
On the sweep, this is French. Maurice French hops in for his 2nd score.
How about the dirty work again? Aaron Matthews this time. Dirty work out on the edges, holding a nice block. And that allowed French to get in the end zone. The tail end of this play, get a couple of nice blocks up front, along with Ollison throwing a block, gets 2 of them. But right about at the end of it, you see French with a block, Matthews with a block, allowing French to get into the end zone. It's that dirty work again, the Draymond Greens and the Dennis Rodman types.
Let's give Aaron Matthews a special shout out. He's our best blocking receiver. That's what the coaches told us. He throws the block to Spring French, who's got 1 touchdown for each of the F's in his last name. 2:49 on the ground for Pitt. A little scuffle is broken out after the extra point. Now the Steelers have already won in Week 10. Your NFL Sunday kicks off tomorrow, and countdown has you started at 10 a.m. Eastern. They preview the big one in Cincinnati. It's the Saints, fresh off their win over the Rams, hit the Bengals. There's James Conner. He'll be glued into the Pats-Titans game.
Talk about the
Saints-Bengals game.
And what they did the other night here, it looks as though Pitt, the Panthers, trying to match what the Steelers did in this very stadium on Thursday night.
There is the former Pitt Panther, current Pittsburgh Steeler. James Conner was with the running backs before the game.
Hey, we all we got, we all we need, fellas. Let's do our job today. Let's do it right, man. Let's put on, man. I know what it is. RBU on 3. 1, 2, 3. RBU.
Running back university.
Who are we to argue with this performance?
Can't argue with that one.
Peoples. Flag is thrown on the run back. He is stopped at the 21, and this is going to be rough starting field position off the penalty for Virginia Tech.
I just love it, though, the contributions that both backs have made.
Illegal block in the back. Number 4, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I just, I'm one of the guys, I don't care who gets the credit. And sometimes, even as a star, you've got to do the dirty work. Ollison, he throws a heck of a block, picks off 2. And then you get Matthews on the edge, who allows French to get in the end zone. That's beautiful football. And will be praised in film study by Pat Narduzzi and this staff.
Justin Fuente on the other sideline. His team scores on the last drive. Ryan Willis, a 29-yard toss to Eric Kuma. First down from the 9. Willis steps up, goes down. Willis sacked, and it's Jason Pinnock off the edge.
Here's a note, Kevin. If you step up to avoid a pass rusher, you cannot step backwards because he's still coming. And so once you step up, you've got to keep pressing the pocket. Step up, keep stepping up, or get rid of the football. But the minute you try to go back, that's when the guy that you avoided the first time is going to get back into it.
Willis snaps it for the end zone, hits Turner. Boy, that was a nearly electric play. Turner was about a broken tackle away from running for a long time. He gets 9 to set up a manageable third down.
Good point, because you're down here, you're trying not to make the big or critical mistake, yet give yourself enough time to allow a route to develop down the field. I've been impressed with Trey Turner here in the first half.
Willis. This one is overthrown. Good coverage there by Pinnock, who had the sack to start the drive, and he didn't let Turner get an inch.
Yeah, they like the size of Pinnock. At 6 foot, 195 pounds, to battle with some of these bigger receivers for Virginia Tech. So they told us, Randy Bates told us yesterday, that he was going to have an opportunity to make some plays, and nothing makes a coach happier than when he calls your number and you respond.
Fair catch made by Arujo Lopes. Great starting field position for Pitt. No timeouts, but 1:38 to go. Coming up at the half here on ESPNU, Chris Cotter, Emmanuel Acho, and Jim Mora in studio. Some big Big Ten battles earlier today with the Buckeyes in Michigan State. Surprise, surprise, the Tide are rolling. And we talk Bedlam in Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
I'll be surprised here if Kenny Pickett doesn't drop back and let one go deep. He's got press coverage on the outside. He's right at midfield. This is when you do it. Little play action to set it up.
There's the play action. And here comes the shot from Pickett. His receiver's got a step. Oh, he had it. It would have been French's third. It was right there.
Boy, you got to lay out. Lay out, Maurice. Leave your feet, big guy, and reach and grab that one. But I think it's because of the pass rush, Gaines on the outside. He forces Pickett to rush it just a little bit, who had great inside position on the route. That's one you just got to leave your feet and lay out and hope for the best.
Well, the Hokies have backed off quite a bit before this second down play. And Pitt will run it with Ollison cutting it upfield. He gets 7. He gets 6, and Pitt will get to the line quickly before third down, although there is an injured Virginia Tech player.
That's what a shot play will do, though. I mean, it'll free it up, and that's looks like Gaines, the pass rusher.
One of the rare experienced players on this defense, the redshirt junior Haushun Gaines. And for Bud Foster, he's already down to his second and third string at some positions.
He leads this team in sacks with 4.5 coming in. 2.5 of those came against Duke in week 5 when he had a heck of a football game.
Well, it's 24-7 Pitt as Gaines has helped off the field. We want to take a look at our mayhem moment brought to you by Allstate. It's 24-7. It could be more as the Hokies forced a fumble. Jermaine Waller knocked it out at the 5 on the run by Kenny Pickett.
But he put his helmet right on the elbow of Kenny Pickett to pop that thing out. Virginia Tech recovered and went on to score their only touchdown of the ball game to really keep them in this thing. But to my point, you talk about Virginia Tech backing off after that shot play. That's what it does. And he was open, so if he hits it, you really don't see it the rest of the day. But just the thought of it happening again, it backed Bud Foster off. And then when you do that, it loosens the defense a little bit. Now you're going to get those running lanes and better blocking angles for the offensive line.
Third and 4 as Gaines leaves the field. Pickett keeps it, and Pickett has the first down.
How long have we been calling for that bootleg? And it finally shows up in a big situation on third down where the flow of the defense goes with Ollison, and it just enough room for Kenny Pickett to show it, pull it, and pick up the first down.
No timeouts, so Pitt has to go under a minute here in the half. It's a rush of 6 for the Hokies. Pickett, he had French open again, and he overshot it to the sideline.
French has got some speed. They told us he was their big play threat with excellent speed. Boy, is he showing it off today. One of the leading rushers today. Pickett in there as well with 42 yards in his own right. Hall already over 100 yards, and then Ollison closing in on it. There's been some performance on the ground for the Panthers. This is where you want to hit a hitch, and you got one up top where you can take a cheap 6 yards and get out of bounds.
Movement on the right side of the line. That'll back up the Panthers.
That's exactly what he
False
wanted
start.
with Tipton.
Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Alex Bookser, the right tackle.
Correction, second down.
That makes it tougher. As Bookster, Bookser, we saw it up here, big fella. You can't deny that one. But all you're looking for in that situation, let's get half of it, get out of bounds, get it to a manageable situation on third down, convert, stop the clock. No timeouts left for Pitt. So they're going to have to use the sideline to help them out.
Can you go over the middle of the field here? There's still enough time to, right?
Oh, yeah, there's enough time to go over the middle of the field. You just want it. If you do it, you want a catch and run for a first down.
Pickett airs it out again. One-on-one to the top of the screen. It's caught. It's Taysir Mack, and he's marked out at the 1.
What a throw by Kenny Pickett. And he hadn't shown this type of playmaking ability through the air but sometimes you just get in a rhythm as a quarterback, and it's your day. And I'm not sure that's not a touchdown when they need to review this one and take another look. That looks like it's 6 points. I don't think he stepped out of bounds whatsoever. Maybe the right foot, the angle we saw.
The field is a completed pass. The previous play is under review.
That initial angle didn't look like he was anywhere near out of bounds. But what a dime thrown by Kenny Pickett.
He is en route to a career best day, Kenny Pickett. He's got 162 already. Will he have 163?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Actually, it's a good call by the official. You see the left side of the toe area, just enough of it steps out of bounds.
Where is the ball when he's out of bounds? My only other question.
But I don't know that there's a definitive angle or look that tells you. And that's a good question.
The Pitt sideline is reacting in totality like it's a touchdown.
There it is right there, about the half-yard line. And I don't think the ball's touching the goal line, so I think it's the correct call. The call will stand. And Teixeira, of course, he wants it because it'll be his first touchdown reception on the year.
He had 3 for Indiana last year. Will he have one for Pitt? Jerry Magallanes will give us the answer.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. A completed catch. First down at the half-yard line.
Why don't they confirm it anymore? Because that one looked like one that would have been confirmed. Let's go with the old standard. It stands.
The difference in lingo for folks who don't know, being confirmed means the call was definitely right. Stands means there's not conclusive evidence to overturn. Either way, it is first down from inside the 1. The back is Ollison.
Watch George Ashton here. Right there. Watch this block.
Who needs a block when you get the football? Big George is in.
I'm waiting on the big fella to throw a block, and they turn around and they give it to him. How about all that hard, dirty work that I do, and I finally get rewarded with the football.
Second touchdown run for Aston, a redshirt senior from Stevens City, Virginia. And he'll stay in there as part of the extra point protection team. What a drive for Pitt. 52 yards in 63 seconds to potentially end the first half.
Boy, he is feeling it right now. Second touchdown of the year. I do all the hard, dirty work, and I finally get rewarded. Right here, gonna go over the top too a little bit. Love it, love it.
He just wanted to leave his feet.
Yeah, throwback type player. Gotta take your hat off to the big guy at 3'5".
Sean Watson told us he is one of the best in college football at what he does. And they think he has a real chance to play on Sundays. He's a fullback. You don't hear that much about a fullback nowadays.
But with that, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. We know how well he blocks, and in a pinch, you know, he can carry it as he did there on a goal line situation. So I definitely think he's going to have an opportunity to make it into camp for someone. Throwback type player, George Aston.
That is what they want here at Pitt. That is what they recruit for. Kids who love football. Well, the Virginia Tech offensive lineman who's going to run this thing back. Big T.J. Jackson, number 71. Well, the ACC's just been playing crazy this year. And it's time to take a ride, Andre Ware, on the ACC Wheel of Destiny. Good thing we have football schools like Syracuse in the ACC to hold up the conference, and Boston College, who's hosting game day when the nation's longest bowl streaks are in jeopardy. Virginia Tech, the nation's longest recognized bowl streak, at Florida State. Pitt is alone atop the Coastal. At the end of all of this, the wheel has spun in favor of Pat Narduzzi's team. They are 4-1 in conference play. They could be 5-1 with a win today. And they get the ball, remember, to start the second half after deferring to start the game.
Yeah, just a tough hill to climb, and then Pitt going to get the football first to start the second half. So
this is if they win.
Yep.
These are the FPI odds. I know FPI is not on the field. I know that, but Pitt is 5-1 in the conference if they win this game. They're at Wake Forest in Miami the next 2 weeks. Willis delivers it short. It is the tight end Keene. Hokies have 3 timeouts, and they will use one here.
They're just trying to get in a position to maybe launch one deep, or maybe get
Virginia Tech
into a situation where you can at least come away with a field goal.
30-second timeout.
Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we still have a whole half left, but as we said, the Pitt remaining schedule, it's not easy. You have to go on the road against a Wake Forest team that won Thursday night at NC State, and then Miami. I don't think FPI quite knows what to do with Miami. Other analytics systems, FPI, S&P Plus, anywhere you look, they don't really know what to do with Miami because the Canes are so good defensively, but they've been an absolute mess offensively of late. So 16%, that seems a little low. It's still not an easy game.
You talk about a fall off. We had Miami early in the season, and I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to compete for the ACC, and the way they looked, and the bottom just fell out of that thing. But the one thing of all of this that I think gets lost is Pitt holds on, wins today, they're bowl eligible. I mean, they will have picked up their 6th win by day's end if they're able to hold on here against Virginia Tech.
Willis, quick hitter. This is Grimsley. He's got the first down. And there is a flag down with 7 seconds remaining. Back near the line of scrimmage.
Holding offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Right now it's just Hail Mary time.
8 seconds on the game clock. 8 seconds.
And he could still run another play with 8 seconds.
That's big Kyle Chung. His dad, Eugene, was a heck of a player. All-American at Virginia Tech and a 1st-round draft pick, and now a coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. Some good bloodlines there, and he's a good player in his own right.
So the Hokies can get a chunk of those yards back and then set up for the Hail Mary. Have the timeouts. It'll be a draw play to Peoples. Stephen Peoples across midfield. Got to get down at some point here. 1 second on the clock, and now it's run out.
Should have called another timeout there after the run, and now that would have given you the opportunity to throw the Hail Mary. So maybe he got the timeout call, he being Justin Fuente.
The first down was gained. The play's under review for the clock.
So the first down gain, that stops the clock right there.
And I actually think there's going to be about 2 seconds left here in the first half. Boy, it has been review city.
Please reset the game clock to 2 seconds.
Yeah, about 2 seconds
on the game clock.
So that allows Virginia Tech one more opportunity to throw a deep shot.
Their 2nd timeout of the half. That was 30-second timeout.
Almost too good of a run by Peoples. He almost ran out the whole clock himself. And it puts you right within Hail Mary race. This would be about a 59, 60-yard field goal.
I saw one of those last Sunday. Contributed to a win. I couldn't believe it when I saw it being kicked. 62 yards in the Texans-Broncos game. A miss gives the Texans, because of where the ball was placed, the ball past midfield. 2 plays later, they're kicking a field goal. Guess what the difference in the game was?
2 points.
That field goal.
Well, you were in Denver where the altitude is high.
Could not believe that was called. I mean, that they even took the chance to kick the field goal.
Here at Heinz Field, nobody's attempting from 59 because nobody's made one from longer than 55, and that's the Pitt kicker, Alex Kessman. So it's Hail Mary time for Willis. 2 seconds and a half. Hokies looking for a minor miracle to head into the locker room. Pitt will rush 3, and Willis is not even going to get it off. In the grasp and ruled down. Hendricks is in there again. What a dominant first half for the Pittsburgh Panthers. At home in the Steel City, and an absolute shellacking of the Hokies for 30 minutes. 31-7. Pitt looking to put its foot down and keep the lead in the for Hall. Long touchdown for French. Taysir Mack with a 40-plus yard catch down to the 1. Look, we're telling you about these big plays. Why don't we just show you?
Yeah, I mean, it got started. Darrin Hall broke off a big run right up the middle of the formation. Soft spot in the Virginia Tech defense, and we got a chance to see his speed early and often. But don't forget about his buddy, Mr. Ollison. He gets going. Big back, physical, with speed. Then you turn it over. When you think you're going to stop the run, what does that do? It opens up the passing lanes on the outside. Maurice French, with his speed and playmaking ability on the outside, they capitalize. Taysir Mack with a big catch down the sideline all the way to the 1-yard line. This Pitt offense was operating on all cylinders in the first half.
First play of the half here is a handoff to Qadree Ollison. Tyree Rogers on the stop for Virginia Tech. Oh, it's a Hokie defense that is beleaguered, undermanned, and they lost another player, Haushan Gaines, out with a knee injury. That's the word from the Virginia Tech Sports Information Department. So Gaines, their leading sack man with 4.5 on the year, is done for the day. Means more Vinny Mahota, more Taiwan Garbett up front, as Bud Foster's depleted defense tries to find an answer. Now the pitch penetration from Holyfield, and that sets up the tackle for a loss. Off the edge, the play made by Garbett for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, they really like Garbett, a redshirt freshman, showing you why. Some nice speed off the edge, and he's going to really have to step up and fill the shoes of Gaines for the remainder of this ball game.
Ready for the misleading stat of the day?
What do you got?
That's Virginia Tech's 7th tackle for loss.
Wow. So
Pitt's got 424 in total.
12.5 yards per play for Pitt. That is operating. You give up 7 tackles for a loss, yet your average is still way up there.
Pitt has not punted today. Pickett trying to get 11, and he is well short. So we will see the Pitt Panther punter, Kirk Christodoulou, for the first time.
Challenged in that locker room. I guarantee you Justin Fuente challenged his defense, the offensive side of it, and his football team to, hey, let's get this thing going in all 3 phases and compete for 30 minutes. Let's just see what happens if we go out and play our best football for 30 minutes. Don't try to get it all back on one play. Just handle every series.
Christodoulou to kick it away to Damon Hazelton.
Nice punt.
Returnable at his 18. And Hazelton is planted, driven backwards.
Guess who?
Where's the forward progress? The question, is that Ollison down there?
That is Ollison covering punts, and a heck of a tackle by the big fella. Getting down the field and just stoning the punt returner. Oh, number 30 going to come here right into your screen. Nice form tackle. Hey, loses his grip, but it still has some jersey. And then you got George Aston showing up as well to help out.
How awesome is that?
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Starting running back, starting fullback in on the play. They both scored touchdowns. So Virginia Tech will take it after the nice punt and run it with Stephen Peoples for 5 yards. Ryan Willis got the Hokies across midfield quite a bit in the first half. Touchdown pass to Eric Kuma for the only Virginia Tech score. What do you think of his play?
I like the numbers. I like the composure he showed in the first half, 12-19. Respectable numbers at 133, and then, of course, the touchdown pass to Kuma. But he's going to need a lot more than that, and at a rapid pace to get him back into this game.
Willis keeps it off the edge with space to operate, and Willis does not slide down.
Wow.
Takes a bit of a lick, but gets Virginia Tech to the 43 for a gain of 18.
It's a page out of Kenny Pickett's playbook where they show it, and they're going to run it, a designed quarterback run. It's the defensive end of that side to bite down inside just enough to pick up a nice big gain.
DeMar Hamlin with a stop. First down Hokies. And a handoff to Jalen Holston for 5 more.
Yeah, I guarantee you that paint in the locker room is still peeling. Those people's taking a break to the sideline, and it's like the training staff may take a look at him, but I think the paint's still peeling in the locker room after that halftime speech by Justin Fuente, because they have come out with a sense of urgency, not only on defense, but on offense as well.
Willis chased down by Weaver on the run, and too tall for Kuma.
He kept waiting on Trey Turner to quit dancing with the corner to that side, Jason Pickett, and he just ran out of time and had to find somewhere to go with the football, and he chose Kuma to go to, but he really wanted Trey Turner.
Some men are just born to dance, Andre. Virginia Tech 9 third-down tries in the first half, hit 3. This has not been a good third-down defense on the year. Kuma right near the sticks.
Boy, and I thought he had the first down, and he bubbled back. And this may be decision time. I think you got to go for it here if you're Justin Fuente. He was in this situation in the first half on a 4th and short, elected to run quarterback sneak to pick it up, and did so. Yeah, you're across midfield. You got to roll the dice.
Here comes Wheatley, and Willis will fake the sweep and take it himself for 2 yards and a first down.
No hesitation, get downhill in a hurry. It's going to give him the first down or the yardage necessary to pick it up.
Ryan Willis has started since Josh Jackson went out in the Old Dominion game, 3rd game of the year. So he's been the starter the majority of the year. It's been his first 2 years at Kansas. 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions for the Leaguer Jayhawk program. Has come here, played well. Willis steps up, got rid of it just in time, and it's a little bit too high for Hezekiah Grimsley.
Yeah, and he was being pressured by Rashad Weaver, the other outstanding defensive end, opposite Dwayne Hendricks, who's got a couple of sacks early. Hendricks pushed in the pocket. Weaver disengages and forces that high throw from Ryan Willis. Well, he is a good-looking athlete, isn't he?
Pat Narduzzi told us he could be the head football coach at Pitt someday, too. That's how highly he thinks of him. On the ground with Holston. 3rd and long coming up. Amir Watts in on the stop for Pitt.
Yeah, you throw the incompletion on first down, and then now coming back on second, you want something positive, so you go right back to the running game. And this is who we thought we would see early in the ball game, is Jalen Holston, the sophomore out of Stockbridge, Georgia.
No McLeese today, no Peoples for the time being, still on the sideline for Virginia Tech.
Deep zone, playing deep zone here. Just run to the stick and turn around.
Willis will flip it quickly to Hazelton through traffic, and he's about 1.5 yards short. Another 4th down coming up for Virginia Tech.
No reason why not to go for it and maybe go back to the well again with Ryan Willis.
Hazelton leaves the field, their leading receiver for this 4th down play. Once again, you have Wheatley wide to the right. The other running back will come in motion. And now Willis checks as Pitt doesn't bite. Play clock down to 6.
I got to get it snapped.
Here we go again. Wheatley in motion. Willis keeps it. Same play as the previous 4th down. And this one good for 3 yards and a first.
Why not until you stop it? It's 4th and short. Just keep running the same play. And they move the chains once again. Where's the big receiver, Eric Kuma? Down here in press coverage at the bottom.
Willis is thinking what you're thinking, and he gets another flag once again with Dane Jackson in coverage against Kuma. And Jackson hopping mad.
That's a tough. He's 225 pounds at 6'2". You're going to press him. I'm going to go there. That is a tough matchup. Well, the redshirt junior, Dane Jackson, at just 6 foot, matched against that, a guy with that height and size. It's tough, and he's got excellent hands. Crawl up there again, go right back again at him.
Well, I don't know that they're going to on this play because Quincy Patterson's back in at quarterback. A true freshman who ran it last time. And he will do so again, Patterson. Flip over to offensive lineman for a gain of 2. 15 schools, 1 network. A new place for the conference to call home. The ACC network is coming August 2019.
Okay, Ryan Willis has proven in this drive that he can run the football, right?
Right.
What's the switch for?
Patterson, nothing. I am.
You got a guy
100% with
standing
you.
on the
No
sideline, ice cold. Patterson hadn't been warming up. He hadn't been trotting up and down the sideline. What is the reasoning for the switch?
Here's the other thing. Pitt knows what's coming.
Exactly.
There's not a threat right now that Patterson's going to throw. They like Patterson, but he hasn't thrown the ball all year. So you know he's going to run it. He plunges into the pile for nothing, and now Willis comes back in for 3rd and 8. 13th play of the drive.
Now all the pressure, you blew 1st and 2nd down, and you put all the pressure on the back of Ryan Willis, who had nothing to do with it the previous 2 downs. Now asking him to deliver. Got to do your job, though.
Willis. And they'll run it again. Ryan Willis for the first down. Lowers his shoulder. Upended at the 5. Willis not shy of contact. It was Bryson Garner with a hit there.
You know what that does? It fires up your offensive line. When they see that, nice block as well by Dalton Keene, the tight end. But you take a shot like that and pop right back up. Look at it. A couple of guys patting him on the helmet, congratulating him.
And he's out of the game again.
Love it.
Here's Patterson. 1st and goal at the 5. Patterson gives it to Wheatley on the sweep. Wheatley gets nothing.
Well, here's the reason why. If you're questioning why we're questioning the decision to put Quincy Patterson in the game. He hadn't warmed up. He's been standing around. So you know that there's going to be either a quarterback run or some type of run from Virginia Tech. He's not throwing the ball.
Again, Willis has played so well on this drive. Patterson, maybe he will throw it here, flip it to the end zone, and he missed a wide open receiver. Hazelton was in the area. He also had James Mitchell running free near the back line.
I just think coaches sometimes outsmart themselves. When you have something going, and it's taken a while. It's obvious on the scoreboard that it has taken a while for Virginia Tech to get their motor running on offense. And you finally get the quarterback, Willis, going. He looks sharp, running and throwing. And you get down here and start experimenting with something because you worked on it in practice. Well, guess what? Sometimes that goes out the window. And you just stay with what's working.
Once again, Willis trying to be the hero on 3rd down. Willis keeps it, had a defender right there. 3 more join the way, and Willis is stuffed. Sean Idowu, the senior, in on the play, and it's 4th and goal and decision time for Justin Fuente.
Almost felt like he would outrun the defensive player that was pursuing, and he slowed down to try to cut back inside. Agree with it. You get down here, you need points. You need big points to get back in this game. But blowing 2 downs because you have a package in that you worked on in practice is a head scratcher.
17th play of the drive for the Hokies. 4th and goal at the 5. Willis to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Eric Kuma.
That has been the go-to guy for him today, more so than Hazelton, because Hazelton's drawn all the attention. It has allowed Eric Kuma to get less attention, and he is a great route runner, flattening that thing off. How about that? The hands, sure hands on a big receiver of Kuma's physical ability. That's nice.
Now Virginia Tech will go for 2, try to make this a 2-score game. Willis for Kuma, little push, and Kuma comes down with it.
You know,
the big man's having a field day.
You hear me always say it. It's not speeding unless you get pulled over. No flag on the field. He was sick of having records set on him. That's not what he came to Virginia Tech for. And that's not the reputation of the Hokies.
It was before the game at BC last week. Darrin Hall with a first down run for Pitt. You wonder if Ricky Walker had anything to say in the locker room after that first half performance. So the Georgia Tech number a couple of weeks ago, Georgia Tech won a game with one pass attempt. It was incomplete. They ran for 465. Obviously, that's their style. Yeah. But Ricky Walker's team has faced another power running group today, and so far struggled mightily.
Nicknamed Bell Cow on that defensive front because he does so much. He's the leader, the only senior starter on Bud Foster's defense.
Pittsburgh kid, mom and dad are from here. He's got a Pirates P logo tattooed on his arm, looking for a comeback in his city. Hall dances free.
Oh,
Darrin Hall has done it again. Breakaway speed for Hall. Hail to Hall. Touchdown Pitt. 73 yards.
What a tandem with Ollison and Hall. Another one. He had yet to get in the end zone and finally got there. And look, one of the first guys to meet him, Qadree Ollison. Big hole along the right side and a break back, and then it's to the house. Connor Dentino with a nice kick out block up front, and that freed him up. And it was just a matter of, can I get there in time?
You mentioned in the first half Virginia Tech's over pursuit on defense with a young team. Is that an example there?
Yes, you over pursuing, and then you got a back that can not only cut it back, but he's got speed to hit it with once it's there, and it doesn't have to stay open very long. Darrin Hall is that type of back, and he's showing it tonight in Pittsburgh.
Bryce Watts inside his own 1. Watts is swallowed up inside the 5.
And to my point, special teams feeding off the energy of the offense, but as saying Pitt could have easily taken their hands off the steering wheel when Virginia Tech goes down, not only puts one in the end zone, but then converts on a 2-point play. What do? They come back, the offense scores, and it feeds the energy right into your special teams. And oh yeah, Alex Kessman, he's feeling it too.
And that, by the way, Stephen Peoples. Bryce Watts not in the game, my mistake. Peoples on the run back for Virginia Tech. Watts out with an arm injury. So the Hokies on their own 5 will run it ahead for a gain of 4 for Jalen Holston.
But you want to go down, if you were Pitt in that situation, you just gave up points, you got to match them and take the fight right back out of Virginia Tech, or a little bit of the sails out of the air. And I'll tell you what, they did it, punched it in, with a big run by Hall, and see what the defense has here.
Willis in the face of pressure, got rid of it to Keene. And Keene drives forward for the first down.
If you're Virginia Tech, throw it over your back and put a drive together again. Need points, you got to continue to score as it gets later and later into this game.
Hokies team that's got 2 home games left after this one. Miami, Virginia. Right now they're scheduled to play 11. They had a game canceled with East Carolina. And if the Hokies can't pick up a win here, it would be 1 loss away from being disqualified for a bowl. They need to get to 6 wins, and Elias Reynolds blew up that play to make it just a little bit harder.
That quarterback draw, and Reynolds he was not fooled whatsoever.
Now the Canes coming to Blacksburg next week, then the Commonwealth Cup. Hokies have won 14 in a row against Virginia. 2 long streaks for this program. The bowl streak at 25 years. The Virginia streak at 14 years.
Has FPI watched Miami lately?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah. Going to Blacksburg, you're only going to give them a 42% chance to win that game?
Well, these are the recognized bowl streaks. Florida State has the longest, but some NCAA penalties from about a decade ago have made their bowl streak unofficial with some wins vacated. So officially, the Hokies have the longest in the nation. And they are facing an uphill climb. Willis, 3rd and long. Caught by Keene. He appears to be short by a yard or so the first down.
Well, this is super decision time. 4th down, you're on your own 25, and
the way Pitt's running the ball, though.
yeah, I almost feel like you have to do this, and I agree with it, because you need points, you need the football.
Hokies hit 3 4th downs on the last drive, and Willis did a great job. He caught a high snap from Hoyt and still managed to get forward for the first down.
Let me tell you something. This kid is playing his guts out tonight, trying to keep his team in it. This is some athletic move right here. Not expecting it that high, but he handles it. Then presence in mind to cut off the block of Stephen Peoples. If he just goes right ahead, he's going to be tackled for a loss. But nice athletic move to pick up the first down and keep this drive alive.
Virginia Tech has had trouble with the snap issues all year, and that was a low snap. Willis flips it out, and the pass caught. Coming back to make the catch, Savoy into Pitt territory, and a big play of 22.
That's trusting that your receiver's going to know where he's supposed to be on the field. Threw it in an area, in a hole, and there Savoy pops up and catches a nice pass to pick up the first down.
Waiting moments of the 3rd. Willis. No, not quite.
I'm not sure why he didn't flip the ball to Grimsley. Hezekiah Grimsley's coming around. He will be in the screen, and not sure why. There's flow. Everybody's there. He can't see what's going on behind him. He should have flipped that when he's saying no, it wasn't there, but I think it actually was.
It's a loss of 8, whatever it was, and it will end the 3rd quarter. Discombobulation for the Hokies to end the 3rd. Celebration for the Panthers.
Little time to talk it over, get set for the 4th quarter and the final run here.
Senior day for Darrin Hall. Senior day for Qadree Ollison. Their last home game, their last show at Heinz Field. What a show it's been. Run for nearly 200 yards on 7 carries. And Pitt nearly has an interception to start the 4th, but there is a flag at the end of the play, well behind the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the penalty on Pitt, you see the numbers on Hall. 16 yards a carry the last 2 weeks, and here Pitt gives up 15.
Elias Reynolds in zone coverage, and there's the late shot by Rashad Weaver, but it was Reynolds that actually got a hand on that ball. Pat Narduzzi, being a defensive-minded head coach, think he's going to like that penalty? Not at all.
On the ground with Peoples. This is still a 3-score game. Virginia Tech with a 17-play touchdown drive last time.
You just have to score and score quickly.
And then you got to get a stop.
And you got to get stops. You're absolutely right.
Good luck with that. Pitt has run it for 345 yards, 517 the total yardage. Handoff here goes to Sean Savoy, and Savoy is stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Phil Campbell, the redshirt sophomore, in there on that stop. He's played some good football as of late. Hamlin, Briggs, and Campbell on the back end. Those safeties along with Stocker. We got a lot of depth and some pretty good players on the back end from Pitt. 4-down territory again here for Virginia Tech.
15th third down attempt of the game, and this one caught for a first down on the move by Trey Turner. A first down machine, Turner.
He is going to have some career at Virginia Tech. True freshman, great size, kind of understands the game. Knows how to read zone coverage as well as man-to-man. Good ball skills. I like him.
Justin Fuentes, eyes lit up, talking about Turner with us yesterday, said he is ready to have a bigger role. 3 catches today. Now a screen set up. Peoples bounced off one of his offensive linemen. It's 7 yards on 1st and 10. Hokies have moved the ball fairly well today. They've been across midfield, it seems, more often than not.
Yeah.
Had some drives stall, though, and missed a field goal in the first half. He had a 17-play drive. This is the 13th of this drive.
We need the end zone here.
If you were winning, these would be just perfect drives, but time is not on the Hokies' side. Willis to the sideline and caught by Hazelton. Hazelton breaks free of a tackle and scores.
And they delivered with a touchdown here. Hazelton with a great spin move to come out of the tackle. That's his 8th touchdown. And now 9 games. But this is the connection we talked about at the top. Hazelton's been quiet all night, splits the defenders, and you don't wrap up a big physical receiver like that. He's going to find his way to the end zone.
Phil Campbell and Jason Pennock. They had Hazelton sandwiched between, and he bounced away. 95-yard touchdown drive. Remember, it started at the 5 after an issue on the kickoff by Peoples. Hazelton, the ACC leader in touchdown catches, makes this a 2. So a couple of touchdowns, couple of 2-pointers away. And the Hokies will kick deep. Maurice French, who has a touchdown in the game on a long catch, has run back 2 kicks for touchdowns this year, and he's out of bounds here near the 35. 2 flags come in for the hit late.
And that late hit's going to be on the kicker, Alex Kessman, for a late hit out of bounds. Excuse me, Georgia Stout. I think he's actually trying to absorb the hit more so than hit it.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Kicking team, number 25. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it's
purely an accident.
There is no number 25 on the Virginia Tech roster. Diablo is 25 today for Frank Beamer, but looked like 92 there. College football playoff rankings this week. They're brought to you by PlayStation 4. Bedlam is living up to the name, Oklahoma State. That is a 1-point game.
Okay, how do you have LSU ranked 7th? The spanking they got last week at home.
Who do you expect to not get spanked by Alabama? Seriously, I think you almost throw that game out the window.
But there is got to be some kind of how you lose, not just to Alabama. But
well, they dropped 4 spots.
Yeah.
You put Washington State ahead of them?
Yes.
Washington
and
State
I did today. I had Washington State all the way up to number 6.
Well, okay, so non-conference schedules here and key wins. LSU certainly has some better wins than Washington State. That's got to mean something, right? No?
That's how you're playing right now.
On the toss, Ollison.
And then you got to go back and look at how are all those teams you played in the non-conference, how are they doing? Based on, their strength of schedule and how it all sets up. It's amazing to me. You get drummed 29-0 and you only drop 4 spots. And at home. Maybe if it was in Tuscaloosa, I could understand dropping just 4 spots. But that's at home in Baton Rouge.
Well, they beat Georgia. They got a nice one on the road at Auburn. They beat Miami, which didn't look quite as good now, but they drubbed Miami in week 1.
Yeah, that doesn't look worth anything right about now.
Both of these teams still have Miami on the schedule. And right now for Pitt, you're talking about who's playing well right now. Just go ahead and put Pitt in the top 4 as Ollison runs it for 4 to first down.
Well, you can, just by the running game alone, you could make a case for Pitt as one of the better running teams in the country.
This is a bit of a misleading number we're showing you here because Pitt has a 73-yard touchdown run by Hall. Virginia Tech has spent the whole half at Pitt's side of midfield. The Panthers did their damage from their own 27. Ollison over 100 yards along with Hall. Second time in their careers they've gone over 100 in the same game. Pickett.
Boy, that's nice.
Nice job of biding his time. Ollison could not complete the catch. And Might have run over into that gate on the side.
But it wasn't because of the effort by Kenny Pickett and nor the accuracy. That is a tough throw. You're going left, got to square up. And Ollison just can't quite reel it in. Yeah, that little flip at the end of it. Maybe you make a case if he's able to hold on to it and get out of bounds, but just trying to secure it with one last little flip caused it to be incomplete. But that is a tough throw, rolling left and having to throw out in front.
Well, they've done quite a bit on the ground. Add to their total, now over 360 yards rushing for Pitt. Remember, 2 weeks ago, Virginia Tech gave up nearly 500 to Georgia Tech and a loss at home. Hokies run defense 10th in the conference in yards per game. That is going, you imagine, to drop against a Pitt team that's 12th in the nation in yards per carry at nearly 6 per, and they are about doubling that today.
It has been impressive, no doubt about it.
Pickett will keep it on 3rd and 4. Bit of a stumble at first, and he gets 2. What do you do here if you're Pat Narduzzi? You're right at the edge of field goal.
Yeah, you don't know how the wind is blowing. I think you go for it. Up 38-22. It looks like he's going to bring the heavies in. Keep the team, keep the offense on the field, and certainly go for it here. I agree with it. It's a long field goal. The wind could affect it. And the way this running game has been producing for Pitt, wouldn't be any hesitation.
Extra lineman and Bryce Hargrove. Aston, the fullback, is out there, left of the formation. Pickett. Ollison breaks free. Who needs a first down when you can get 6? 31 yards.
Boy, they run behind Aston so much that they window dress it and send him left. They counter it and bring Ollison back. But there's Aston pulling back around the fullback 35. It's so clean, he doesn't have to block anybody. This Pitt rushing attack is something else.
Qadree Ollison told us he used to write book reports about Walter Payton as a kid. That was the running back he idolized.
Yeah.
Walter would have loved running behind this offensive line, wouldn't he? It has been nothing but sweetness for Pitt. All over the Hokies on the ground. Ryan Willis thrown down by Rashad Weaver. This is what you missed in our 30-second break.
Well, Weaver not biting on the fake and staying at home, made a nice tackle on Ryan Willis. Both these ends, he and Dwayne Hendricks, have had a superior game.
High throw complete. Gain of 7 as Willis connects with Kumi. You know, this Pitt defense has a new change in leadership this year. Randy Bates, the first-year defensive coordinator after 12 years at Northwestern. He hasn't changed much, and those ferocious ends have been the hallmark of this team. Part of their recent surge as of late. Gave up 13 to Virginia last week. As well as scampers for a first down here. I thought it was interesting talking to Randy yesterday.
Yeah.
12 years at Northwestern. We asked him, what'd you change when you came here? And he said, really not much. Just the terminology changed. And it took him a while to feel like he wasn't speaking a foreign language compared to the rest of the team.
Yeah, he learned the defense that was already in place here and adjusted rather than having the entire defensive unit adjust. So still kind of a learning curve for the defensive coordinator.
Willis dumps it away. Chased down the play by James Folston. Thought it was interesting to talk to Randy Bates and ask him what is different. You're 30 years of coaching. What is different about kids today?
Yeah.
And he said the biggest difference is they want to know why.
Always have to answer that question instead of, you know, back when we played, coach tells you to do something, you just do it and you don't question the authority. And now kids are always they want the answer before the job.
Willis, second down, swallowed up, and he is still on his feet. His knee did not hit the ground. He was in the grass but not whistled dead, and Ryan Willis is going to take this thing all the way inside the 20.
Wow. I am totally blown away as to why that wasn't whistled down, or progress or whatever. And how about the heads-up play by Ryan Willis to get up and run?
Pitt's going to take a timeout. Sure, this play will be looked at. A run of 39 as it stands for Ryan Willis. Play was not reviewed, though. Ryan Willis did not go down on this play, though Weaver had him in the grasp.
Yeah, the reason why I question it is because of player safety, and you watch so many games where lesser hits draw the flag for roughing, and you want to protect the players. And trust me, I'm a quarterback. I want to see guys succeed, but that one is just a head scratcher.
Quincy Patterson is back in the game for Virginia Tech. On the handoff, Jalen Holston with a first down to the 4. Jalen Holston getting more time today because Deshaun McLeese is out. An undisclosed injury suffered in the Boston College game. Patterson will continue to commandeer the offense. The freshman from Chicago. On the sweep, this is Grimsley, and he gets nothing.
Nothing doing. Dane Jackson keeping nice outside leverage, and they just decided, they being the coaching staff of Virginia Tech, that when they get down inside or this part of the field, that they were going to turn things over to Quincy Patterson.
Well, the coaches here think he's a special kid, a true freshman playing in his 3rd game. Patterson will tiptoe his way down to about the 2. He'll get one more game on the year before he can keep that red shirt for another season with the new year, the 4-game red shirt rule. Patterson will depart here. Willis back in for 3rd down. Third time we've seen Patterson for the first 2 downs of a series, and then Willis come in on 3rd. Last time, as you mentioned, down at the goal line earlier in the half.
4-down territory here for Virginia Tech.
Willis kept it, cross his body, and incomplete. Hazelton the target, Jackson with the coverage.
That's some play by Jackson, who's their best cover man, and working against a big receiver in Hazelton, but he lays out and he goes with the offhand to knock the ball away, which gives him a chance for success.
Hokies are 5 of 5 on 4th downs today. Willis to the end zone, incomplete. It was Kuma the target. A couple of touchdowns today. Could not get that one with Sean Idowu in coverage. Hokies come up empty on 4th down for the first time. Idowu got a hand in there. The senior makes the play. Short on 4th and goal. Pitt looks to move to 5-1 in the Coastal. Maybe they'll make Sports Center. Kirby and Fowler give their top 4 after week 11 of college football. They go inside the numbers on 2's incredible season. And you're not going to want to miss what Stephen A has to say on the Jimmy Butler deal to the Sixers. How about this? First play of the drive, Ollison. Qadree Ollison running over Caleb Farley. Ollison with a house call. You've got to be kidding. 97 yards.
Officials are talking about that flip into the end zone right now, and whether they're going to call it or not, and they may just let it go. But he does a heck of a job. And I mentioned earlier, Farley was the 100-meter champion in the state of North Carolina in high school, and he didn't bring enough rocks in his pocket to that party not to handle big Qadree Ollison. Ran him right over in the open field. Some run by the big fella.
Wow. 492 rushing yards.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. After the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 30, Pittsburgh. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. That's number 30's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Yeah, they actually could have gotten him for flipping into the end zone and brought it back. But they allowed him some leeway and let the touchdown at least stand. Yeah, that's exactly what Justin Fuente's talking about right now. He's wondering why the flag wasn't thrown with a flip into the end zone.
Well, it stands as the longest rushing play from scrimmage in Pitt Panther history.
We talked about some good running backs today that have played here.
Dorsett, Hayward, Martin, McCoy, Lewis, Connor, Ollison. Amazing, amazing day for these two senior backs on senior day. And Virginia Tech, after getting hit for 475 on the ground by Georgia Tech a couple of weeks ago, have been blasted for 492 on the ground for Pittsburgh. This was the end of the play for Ollison. This is why he was flagged.
Well, that's launching from the one and then the flip. And I just, if you have a rule in place, that was the time to throw the flag, and then that was after the play that they actually threw the flag for. I love it. I think, you should be able to celebrate.
Yes, you should.
But if you have a rule, you can't celebrate before you get into the end zone, or it's a 15-yard penalty, and the score comes off the board. So I see exactly why Justin Fuente was having a discussion with the officials. That's the second time in the ball game that it's been kind of overlooked.
13, Holston.
I hear you. It's easy to see Justin Fuente's side on that, but that shouldn't be a rule. Like
But it's a rule.
Jumping in the end zone.
But
I know.
It's a rule.
I agree with you.
It is a rule. The
saying
score
in
comes
general.
off the board, and it's a 15-yard penalty, and I don't know a better example.
No. Patterson in the game, you figure a quarterback for good for the rest of this game as Holston takes it for a first down.
I guess to my point is that you just don't do those things. Do it after you're in the end zone, and you don't even bring that in, into discussion. We aren't even having that discussion if he just runs through the end zone, or flip when you get into the end zone and get the penalty. But that's the rule.
There's Wheatley for Virginia Tech. And again, for Virginia Tech's side of things here, you've got the bowl streak at 25 in a row. The Hokies now go home. They have Miami next week, who's really struggled to play. They have Virginia, who was ranked until Pitt beat them last week. There is no 12th game at the moment. Maybe they could add one. Some teams have. East Carolina rescheduled a game with North Carolina State. As it stands, Virginia Tech has 11 games, and as it stands, they would have to win the next two to be bowl eligible at 6 and 5.
I happen to think that they're going to be bowl eligible by season's end. I think they win those two games, and here's the reason. They're at home. That's a tough place to go into and play. I see no reason why they don't beat Miami and Virginia at home to complete the season.
Now they have lost a few at home this year.
Yeah.
Lost to Notre Dame. They lost to Georgia Tech and BC. Turner takes it for 8 yards.
Or 6 and 5 rather, with the canceled game against East Carolina.
And for Justin Fuente, he told us yesterday, look, it hasn't been all roses and sunshine this year. We've had a young team. A couple of players were dismissed. He said we made some long-term decisions for the betterment of the program. And, it's not a linear process is what he came back to. We had a talented and hungry group with a veteran locker room year one. You had a talented veteran defense year two. They lost a lot this year. They lost more than they thought they would, but he told us it's almost like a year one experience in year three because of all the talent that left earlier was dismissed or graduated.
It's rough when you got to play a lot of young players and you're in a competitive, not only conference, but division in your within your conference. That's a tough place to be. Inexperience is hard to overcome.
Patterson on the rollout for the Hokies. Well, tonight there is a heck of an ACC game coming up shortly. Clemson and Boston College in just about an hour and a half on ABC, 8 Eastern. Winner of that game, if it's Clemson, they win the Atlantic. If it's BC, the Eagles would control their own destiny in the Atlantic. And right now it looks rather plausible that the winner of that game will play the winner of this one, with Pitt moving to 5-1. Because of the tiebreakers, Pitt will be a game up on Virginia in the Coastal. The Panthers beat Virginia head-to-head, so Pitt will only need to win one more game. At Wake Forest next week, at Miami to close it out. Tough ones on the road. They get one of those two, and Pitt will be headed to the ACC championship. That is a backwards pass to Savoy.
It's going to be ruled down back around the 30-yard line as a lateral.
Well, now the clock has stopped. It did run for a couple of seconds at first.
The ruling on the field, it was an illegal forward pass. 4th down.
An illegal forward pass is not what that was. Incomplete pass.
No wonder we didn't get that. No wonder there was no call.
All right, 4th and 9.
Rough night.
A long day.
Rough night.
So Pitt, you just saw an 85%
Please reset
chance.
the game clock to 1 minute, 16 seconds. 1:16 on the game clock.
85% chance to win the Coastal per FPI. Going for the end zone, incomplete in the direction of Turner. Kneel down time for Pitt with 1:10 to go. Basis.
I echo everything you're saying, partner, and to keep us safe here and allow us to do what we're doing. And a big thanks. We're eternally grateful for that.
Yeah, there is Eric Kuma. This has been a rough day for Virginia Tech, and you certainly hope Kuma has not lingered. That injury will not linger to Kuma into next week. Well, Pitt is going to cut into its run total here, which is at 492. Well, you figured it might be some kneel downs, but instead, Jeff George Jr., the backup, will give it to A.J. Davis, who was down. Tony Dorsett was here today to witness a historic rushing performance. You know, Tony had a 99-yard touchdown run in the NFL.
Yeah, it was on a Monday night game against the Minnesota Vikings. I remember it all too well.
Looked something like this?
It resembled it, but he went untouched. He didn't have to bowl over anybody at the end of it, but this was impressive nonetheless for Mr. Ollison.
97, the longest play from scrimmage in the history of Pitt football, and what a history that is. Kneel down for George will do it. The Pitt Panthers are 1 win away from the ACC championship. They are bowl eligible. They are 5-1 in the Coastal after a senior day demolition of Virginia Tech's Hokies. What a day for Ollison. What a day for Darrin Hall. What a day for Pittsburgh. Panthers a game up on UVA. They go to Wake Forest next week, Miami after that. A win, and they are off to the ACC title game against Clemson or Boston.